My name is Dawn. I'm a volunteer with the North York Moors National Park. My volunteering roles spread from conservation all the way through to archaeology tasks, scheduled monument recording and anything else that wants doing within the park. My main interests are archaeology, the historic environment and the landscape in which we live. We're here at Sutton Bank as part of the Raiding the Bank project, and we're looking at the landscape and how it was affected during the early 20th century. In the years between the First and Second World War, gliding became a very popular sport across Europe. German pilots led the way because restrictions after the First World War prevented them from flying powered aircraft. Pilots began searching for the best natural landscapes for gliding, and Sutton Bank in North Yorkshire was quickly recognised as an ideal site. The strong westerly winds hit the high cliffs, creating perfect lift for early gliders. The Yorkshire Gliding Club was founded here in 1934, and by 1936 its first permanent hangar had been built, a building that still stands today. The club played an important role in British gliding, attracting figures like Fred Slingsby of Slingsby Aviation and famous aviator Amy Johnson, who was the first woman to fly solo from London to Australia and regularly flew here from Sutton Bank.
Well, the Raiding the Bank project's been a really good project, looking at the whole history of the Sutton Bank area from prehistory right through to the Second World War. And one part of that was organising the Gliding Club Archives, which is a really interesting social history of the Gliding Club, which has been operating here since the 1930s, and there's all sorts of interesting stuff in there which has been brought to light as a result of this exercise. It's an interesting one which shows a glider flying over where the modern day visitor centre is. So it's at least more than 50 years old because the visitor centre was built 50 years ago. One of the many interesting stories which have emerged from the archives is the one about the German spy who was operating here in the 1930s, whose name was Rudolf Hesslinger, was using his gliding to spy on RAF installations throughout the north of England, and was flying all over the place, and every one of these little dockets up in here represents a Hesslinger flight, and as you can see there are dozens of them. So he was very active in the 7 or 8 months that he was here in 1937. There was actually two of them, Caspar Hesslinger and the one here at the Gliding Club, Rudolf Hesslinger, and he was doing the same sort of thing under the guise of sailing. He was a member of a sailing club at South Shields, and he was sailing up and down the coast, winning all sorts of competitions and photographing naval installations and things like that. So the authorities became aware of that, and they didn't arrest him or prosecute him, they just withdrew his visa and he had to leave the country. And that might have been the end of the story, but 2 years later, in 1937, his brother Rudolf Hesslinger appears here at Sutton Bank as a glider pilot, and he starts to do pretty much the same thing. And this academic chap who uncovered the story was able to access records after the war which proved that both brothers were actually working for the Abwehr, the German Secret Service. So, by all accounts, he was the life and soul of the party. He was always holding court at the club bar, buying drinks for everyone, and everyone thought he was a really good fellow, where he's actually a spy. Yorkshire Flying Club logbook. When you're looking through the flying logbook for leading up to 1939, it's very, very busy. And suddenly you come to the 3rd of September 1939, when there's a big line drawn right across the pages, very stark, all flying at Sutton Bank, suspended until further notice, in accordance with Air Ministry orders. The Second World War had started, and you can see in a very stark thing on the page here, just that line, and all life as we know it was suspended at that point. That really spoke to me when I saw that for the first time.
When Second World War broke out in early 1939, all gliding activity at Sutton Bank stopped by order of the Air Ministry, and the site was taken over by the Ministry of Defence. Britain was under threat of invasion, and the area's location made it strategically important. German invasion plans, known as Operation Sea Lion, including using German paratroopers to capture airfields, and Sutton Bank, well known to German pilots and easily spotted from above thanks to the Kilburn White Horse, would have been a clear target. To prevent it being used as a navigation aid, the White Horse was covered over and disguised. The Raiding the Bank project has uncovered 2 more stories of importance concerning the military use of Sutton Bank during the war. First, a dummy airfield was built north of the current National Park Visitor Centre to confuse German pilots. It was manned by RAF personnel from Dishforth and featured fake wooden aircraft, fake runways and even lights at night to mimic an operational airfield. This airfield, and others like it, were created to confuse German aircraft in the days before GPS and satellites, when pilots relied on sight navigation. During the war, the dummy airfield operated day and night to confuse the German pilots 24/7. During the night, large powerful lanterns were deployed to create the runway outlines. However, as the threat of invasion reduced in the 1940s, the site was limited to daytime operations only. The second discovery is a series of military trenches dug around the Gliding Club airfield, especially to the north of it. These range from small 1 or 2 man foxholes arrayed in a semicircle to large multi-trench networks providing 360-degree firing arcs. With the Raiding the Bank project, we led an archaeological excavation into these trenches, looking to see what clues the men may have left behind. What we found suggests that the trenches were used for training rather than active defence, as no evidence of long-term use was found. Their presence highlights Sutton Bank's strategic importance as the high point overlooking the Vale of York, with the pass being the key east-west road up the escarpment and as a potential enemy landing zone. The Second World War changed Britain, and this small corner of rural North Yorkshire is no exception. The war changed both the landscape at Sutton Bank and the lives of the people who lived nearby. Today, traces of this wartime activity remain for those who know where to look. Reminders that even peaceful communities played their part in Britain's defence.